myth about stereotyping, especially the physical aspects of aging. And I'm going to do a little bit of a rebuttal. So that's what we're going to do. Welcome to Senior Insights. My name is Cynthia, and everyone is welcome. You can be a senior. You don't have to be a senior because you will be a senior someday. So maybe you should watch it and see what you're up against. Anyway, I'm going to try and use a little bit of humor. I'm not a comedian, and I don't expect that you will be rolling on the floor laughing. Just try to notice the little subtle nuances, please. It's very important to me to mention that stereotyping is actually a harmful thing, can be a harmful thing. And most of the time it's inaccurate, as I will show you, especially we're going to be dealing with the physical aspects of the older population. So we're going to do that. I am going to focus on gardening since it's physical and it's the spring, and we've been talking about seeds and planting and the sun shining, and it's kind of a good comparison. I mean, I could talk about weightlifting, the weightlifting 100-year-old, or I could talk about the 80-year-old ballerina, but I think we can all relate a little bit to gardening. So they say that we are weak. Weak. That's what they say. They say we are weak, physically weak. Well, I'll tell you what I did last year. I decided I was going to remodel my backyard, and I wanted crushed stone. Well, I didn't like the cost of the crushed stone, so I decided, well, just go and get it. So I went, and I didn't realize how heavy crushed stone actually was in a concentrated form. But I didn't want to pay for the delivery, which seemed unreasonable to me. So I got 6 5-gallon buckets because I collect those. So I had 6 5-gallon buckets, and I put them in my car, and I went to the stone store. And at the store, I went out into the gravel yard all by myself with my trusty shovel, and I had to take the buckets out of my car. Then I shoveled all the stone into the buckets. Then I had to lift those buckets back into my car. Well, have you ever lifted a 5-gallon bucket of stone? I don't want to say this because they'll say, well, they're weak. What do you expect? But it's backbreaking. But I did it. And then I came home and I unloaded my car. And then I had to walk all those buckets back into my backyard because the car wouldn't go, doesn't have access to it. Those things are heavy, concentrated stone, crushed stone. And then I emptied them out, and then I spread them in my yard. So I personally beg to differ with anybody that says we are weak. Yes, I could have done a lot more maybe a couple years ago, but I don't consider myself weak at all. Do you consider yourself weak, even if you feel like you're weak? Let's face it, some of us are in wheelchairs. Yeah, they have that as a stereotype that we're all in wheelchairs. Well, we're not all in wheelchairs, and the people that are in wheelchairs need to be in wheelchairs. That doesn't mean that they can't still garden, right? You can garden on a raised bed. You can garden at your picnic table and, roll your wheelchair up there and plant your seeds. And there are some that aren't able to do that. But it's not every elderly senior person. I know one woman who is elderly, and she has a garden it seems like the size of a football field. I mean, it's huge. I don't know how she does it. I shouldn't say that because we're supposed to be very strong. We're not supposed to be weak. But what I'm trying to say is there's diversity in the older population, just like there is in the younger populations. No. So then they think that we have bad posture and we shuffle when we walk, and that we walk slowly and we walk with a cane, and we're prone to injury. Get a grip. I see young toddlers who have a medical condition that need to use a walker. I don't know the statistics, but I bet it's probably equal to the geriatric population. But I don't know that, but come on, little babies have to use walkers. I've seen teenagers using crutches with their leg in a cast. How is that different from somebody using a cane or a walker to get from one place to the next? It requires strength to lift the walker. It requires strength to walk. It requires paying attention to the cane. Now, I will admit, I am prone to falls, and I am prone to injuries. I had 5 broken ribs once. That was not fun. But not everybody gets 5 broken ribs. Not everybody falls down. Seniors are smart. They know how to assess they know what their limitations are. They know how to assess the ground around them, the steps that they're going up, so they are not prone to injury. Have you seen someone that's out in the garden and the dog is trying to escape through the left open gate, and that senior runs across the yard like nothing's wrong? Now, when I garden or if I work outside, I prefer now not to get on the ground, but I have a special gardening stool that I can sit on and bend over and do gardening. I can kneel on it also and push up. So I have figured out a way to do what I need to do and get the job done. It doesn't mean that, I have to use these things because I'm a senior. I could have had, I don't know, but it irritates me to think that people think that we're all using walkers and canes and wheelchairs. That is just not true. And the people that are using them because they need them, and it's not unique to being a senior. The kids use them, the children use them, the adults use them. The seniors use them when they need to. So that's it. Then they think that we have bad posture when we walk and we shuffle when we walk. This is another one that I found on the internet. I don't shuffle when I walk. But you know what? People that have Parkinson's sometimes shuffle when they walk. They can't help it. They have a disease. Well, what about the kid that has cerebral palsy or has some other physical or genetic condition where they can't walk, where they shuffle or they drag their leg? Well, I'm sorry. That doesn't mean that there's something wrong with them, mentally or physically. They're functioning at their level, and that's how we function. We know what our limits are. If we need to use a cane or a walker, when we do, that's because we're smart. We're smarter than they are. They don't get it. Then they think that we have social isolation, that just because we're old, that we don't ever get out, and we don't ever have fun, we don't ever socialize, we don't ever go to the movies, we never go to the opera, we don't do any of that stuff because we're too old. Well, that is another joke. It's just not true. I don't go out because I don't like to go out. But I go to social gatherings, I go to my group meeting, and whatever. Now, I am sure that there are some young people that are isolated and alone as well. I think I just did a recent video on being alone and lonely. Well, that doesn't just pertain to elderly people. You can be alone in a crowd and feel very lonely. You can feel lonely when you have a spouse sitting in the chair next to you. And it doesn't have to be a senior. Am I right or wrong? Anyway, that's what I'm saying. Then they say, we can't keep up with fashion. Well, look at this outfit. I had it on yesterday too, I'm sorry. 2 days in a row. I'm saving laundry and water money. They say we're not fashion conscious. Who cares about fashion anyway? That's the way I feel about it. But The boomers invented bell-bottoms. They used to have poodle skirts. We used to have polyester leisure suits. Do you remember that? We used to have saddle shoes. So they can't get away with saying that we don't stick with the fashion, that we're not fashionable. I'm sorry. I had a friend who needed a dress, and I brought it to her, and she was able to use it. But while I was looking in my closet, I found 3 other dresses. I haven't worn those in like 10 years. I don't know, but I was glad that she was able to use the dress that my mother had. But anyway, that's getting off the point. We are as fashion conscious as we need to be. We are trendsetters. So they ought to know that. Then, here's another one. I especially like this one because I'm included in this one. Gray hair and white hair means that you're over the hill. Yeah. Do you feel like you're over the hill? I don't feel like I'm over the hill. They think that because you have gray hair or white hair that you are over the hill. Well, my hair, it has a blue tint to it, if you can see it. So I don't fit in either of those categories. But I am not over the hill. I don't know what's making that noise. It's very expensive to pay for these hairdos that they have. They get the platinum blonde, they get the streaks in them. Like, you remember when we used to get gray, when our hair started to get gray? It wasn't all totally white or gray, it was some black. Now they pay to get that. So we are fashionable. And look about the woman that I told you the other day. She has gray hair, and her hairdresser talked her into putting brown streaks in her hair. So they have a nerve, if they're talking to us about white and gray hair. I mean, my daughter has some purple streaks in her hair. I wish she would get rid of them, but she thinks she's cool. So, and she's old enough, so she can do whatever she wants. And she actually is a beautiful woman. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, thank you very much. I'm not tired all the time. I don't even take a nap. As a matter of fact, since I've been doing YouTube, I've been getting up really early. And those of us who have gardens or we have plants, we get up at the crack of dawn and we have to go out there and we have to water them. We have to pull the weeds. We have to take care of the garden. We still have energy to bake the zucchini bread because we're overloaded with zucchini. And the younger kids need a triple espresso on their way to work. Yeah, they need to spend $7 on I don't really even know what an espresso is. Have you ever been to Starbucks? I can never figure out what to order when I'm in there. But anyway, they need a jolt before they can even go to work. So who's the ones that are tired? Geriatrics, older people sometimes are tired because they stayed up late playing video games. That's me. But I'm never tired. I don't take naps. I know a lot of people do like taking naps. Well, that's to recharge. That's fine. I did a video on how older people are technophobic or they can't do tech. Well, who ordered the seeds online? Who found the seeds online? Who paid through the bank online? That is not technophobic and that you can't do texts. Who was that was texting me while I was trying to do this video? We can do all the stuff. We can do hobbies, we can get up early, we can do the gardening, and then we can still have time for our friends and our hobbies. So I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I'd like it if you could add some comments about how you feel about these stereotypes on the physical attributes of seniors. That seems to be the way people think about us. They have a nerve. They have a nerve. Anyway, thank you. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And I will see you in the next video.